Hello guys and welcome back to Josh Must Win episode 7, and as you're watching this, the finale has aired. I have not seen the finale yet, so please no spoilers in the comment section, but the finale episode will be out on Friday, so make sure you stick around to watch that. But today we are going to be talking about the penultimate episode. We're down to the final 5. There's one more elimination and then we're left with our final 4. I gotta be honest, I'm not liking the chances of Josh winning this series. I don't think he is gonna win. I think he easily could, but I think it's a little bit of a risk, and I'm not sure it's going to pay off. It could, it very much could, but I'm nervous. I'm pretty nervous. Yeah, it really could go on a way or the other. But before we get into this episode, I just want to say thank you guys very, very much for subscribing. As of counting, we're only 6 subscribers away from 800, which means you guys have been doing bits on the channel recently. I'm so happy, and you guys are absolutely sensational. It feels great to know that you guys are here to support me, and we're inching our way closer to the goal of 1,000 subscribers. And then that's when the real fun can begin. Okay, so without much further ado, let's get into the episode, shall we? So, the episode began with the celebrities trying to work out where everyone's head is at the moment. It's very difficult to know what's going on in people's brains, but fortunately, they're able to call people to the diary room and essentially get them to talk as if they were producers. So, it was interesting to see that a lot of people are very undecided about where their head's lying at, and also they're sort of giving pros and cons for each person. Nobody seems to be wanting to get rid of Josh, so that's fine, but the problem now lies with the fact that we don't know how many votes Josh could get in the final. We know that Louis and Jeanette have been voting for him as the favourite, but they haven't necessarily been voting him as the favourite because they think he's the favourite. They've been voting him tactically to put him in a sort of power position so they don't have to be. Because if you think about it, the first episode there was about 4 people up. Then it was Louis, then it was Jeanette, then it was Louis again, then it was Josh, then it was Jeanette again, and now it's Louis again. Now it's Josh again. So, oh, spoiler. So like those 3 have really dominated the house, and it's really becoming a bit of a problem now, purely because we don't know who Josh is going to vote for. Part of me thinks he's going to vote for Jeanette, which could muck everything up because Jeanette could win this show very easily. But obviously that's not the whole point. The whole point is that we're getting Josh to win. So it'll be interesting to know how they manage that going into the final. But we've got to talk about this episode, so let us move on to the challenge. So the challenge was essentially look out for your friend, that kind of vibe. It was entertaining-ish. They were each asked to choose an egg. I'm pretty sure that Louis chose Jeanette. Jeanette chose Sophia. Sophia chose Maddie. Maddie chose Josh. And Josh chose Louis. I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. I could be slightly wrong about that. But it was interesting to see sort of who picked who, because it showed alliances within the house, which I found very interesting. The whole thing was, in the first round, they had to protect their egg from getting crushed by a weight by putting their hand in cold water and holding the weight and stopping it from crushing the egg. It sounds a lot more complicated than it actually was, but the whole thing was made slightly easier for Josh because he had a lighter weight than the others, and he also didn't have ice cold water. He had sort of like kind of cold water. So it was just a little bit more bearable. Unfortunately, Jeanette gave up pretty much straight away. It was actually a pretty shocking display from Jeanette. I'm pretty sure she gave up like 5 minutes in, not even that. Yeah, was a little bit disappointing. And then I think Maddie also gave up as well. So that meant that Maddie lost the opportunity to get Josh, I think it was. Maddie was looking after Josh's egg. Yeah. So Maddie ruined Josh's chance of phoning home. But then again, they were like, also, if you keep the egg safe, then you and the person that you protected get a phone call home. So I don't know. It was an odd challenge. It was very strange. But the first part of it was quite entertaining, and you could really tell that Louis, Sophia, and Josh were just locked in. There was no breaking them out of that. They were not losing this challenge, and I gotta say, I fully respect that. The next challenge was pretty much a glorified game of tag. I'll be 100% honest. It was interesting and it was fun, but it didn't really do much else, I guess. They essentially had like 3 different plinths, and there was the man in the like the colourful bodysuit. It was weird, and he was chasing them round. They had to put their eggs on plinths, and then the last person who made it to the plinth was like eliminated. It was a fairly basic challenge, but it was still very entertaining to watch at times. There was a little bit of controversy because Louis decided to get a little bit rough and tumble with Josh and was like pulling him back and like knocking him to the floor. And it did feel a little bit mean-spirited. It didn't sort of make me like Louis in that moment. I was sort of like, oh, that's not okay. That's not good. And I think Josh was a little bit angry and pissed off about it because, like I said, it was a little bit uncalled for. And at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's not the end of the world. But that meant that Josh was obviously out of the game and he lost Louis's chance. But obviously Louis has another chance because he's still in the game. So I don't know. It is what it is. If I was being smart, I would have taken out Sophia, because either way, Louis or Josh, Louis would get a phone call home. But I don't know. Sophia was so quick to the bedroom for that, like very, very quick indeed. So I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, moving on to the final round, they decided to trick the housemates and play one bird noise followed by another bird noise, which indicated the living room. So they started running off to the bedroom, and then obviously Sophia heard the second one, ran back and won the game for herself and Maddie. Yes, she was protecting Maddie's egg. So yeah, it was an interesting challenge, a very, very interesting one indeed. Like I said, it didn't really do anything because it was now been in this process for so long that, like, I don't know. This series has kind of lost its charm for me. It was interesting at the start, but I don't think there was enough twists and turns to make the show as interesting the more it went on. Like, I remember the first 3 episodes were absolutely incredible. 4, 5, and 6 were good. And like 7 so far has just been a bit lackluster. And I'm not overly excited for the finale now. I think it's going to be entertaining, but I don't know. It is what it is. So now we come on to some favourites and non-favourites. There's only 5 people left, which means that this section is just getting shorter and shorter and shorter, but we've got to get to it at some point. So Maddie's favourite was Sophia. It really does feel like everyone's picking their besties at this point, and I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a tweak in this game if that is the case, because I don't know. The whole favourite, non-favourite, like the least favourite makes sense, but the favourite is like it does end up just being like, oh, who's got the most friends in the house? Does that make sense? Like that's how it feels at times. I don't know whether that's just me, but it is what it is. She picked her least favourite as Louis because she doesn't want to put any of the other people up, so it just has to be Louis, which I think is, again, what it gets to at this point is who do you have the least connection with? Who do you not get on with necessarily? There's not really any other reasons. No one's done anything to be sort of labelled the least favourite in the house, so it kind of does just have to be who is your least favourite, I guess. Sophia was up next, and she said her favourite was Maddie. Very similar reasons to what Maddie said about Sophia. Bestie vibes. That's literally what I wrote. I actually wrote that for most people apart from Jeanette. Least favourite was Louis, because she just feels like she has the least connection with him. Once again, it's just one of those things where, like, you get so far in the process and it's like, okay, now I've got to pick someone. Who do I pick? Oh, this person, because I have the least amount of a bond with them, I guess. Josh was up next. His favourite is Louis, because bestie vibes. Least favourite is Maddie, and that's because he didn't want to have to put Sophia up again, purely because she's already been up now twice in a row, and he doesn't want to have to put her up again. Then Louis said his favourite was Josh, bestie vibes, obvs. And his least favourite is Maddie, purely because he doesn't want to put Sophia up again. That was pretty much what it boiled down to. Now, Jeanette is playing a little bit of a different game. She voted her favourite as Josh because it's a numbers game now. And she believes that Louis will vote for Josh. And so she feels like she needs to vote for Josh in order to get him in the favourite position and keep herself safe. And I'm thinking, so now Jeanette is starting to play the game. She hasn't been playing it at all, as far as we're aware. But now that she's down to the final 5, it's time for that game plan to come out. It's time to win the show. And I think Jeanette is genuinely the opposition here. Her least favourite was Maddie, purely because she feels like she has stronger connections in the house. Like I said, there isn't really a lot more I can say on the matter. It just is what it is at this point. There's not really much you can say. Yeah. So that left them with a favourite of Josh with 2 votes and a least favourite of Maddie with 3 votes. Louis was very close to being least favourite, but obviously some people aren't wanting to play tactically. I know Maddie and Sophia kind of talked about voting Louis to give them the best shot, but when you're up against that trio, it's really, really hard, because Josh then was like, I'm not putting either of these 2 up, so Sophia, unfortunately, you've got to go up again. I'm really, really sorry. I don't want to do this, but I have to. Yeah, I do feel bad for him having to do that twice to her now, but it's a numbers game. There's not really much you can do. It's a shame, but it is what it is. So when it came down to Sophia versus Maddie, it really did take the celebrities a while to work out which one would be best for them in the game. I would have personally saved Maddie over Sophia, because I can't remember who it was, but someone brought up a very, very valid point that Sophia has now been put up for elimination twice by Josh. So there may be some kind of resentment there. Whereas Maddie has been put up on the block twice by Louis. So therefore, she's probably going to want to vote Josh more in the final than Sophia will. It's a dangerous game, because you're essentially having to think about who is going to vote for Josh at the end. And I really thought that would be Maddie, but they decided to get rid of... So they decided to keep Sophia and get rid of Maddie. I personally think that was the wrong choice. I feel like they've fucked themselves. But obviously we'll have to wait and see whether Josh wins. I don't think he will. But like, it was sad to see Maddie go. Maddie's one of these people that I thought was going to be really jarring and annoying going on into the show. Like when she was like, oh, I'm an OnlyFans model, etc., etc. I was just like, oh, God. Oh, right, okay, cool. And I feel like that about a lot of people on this show. There's a lot of people that I came in with like, preconceptions of. But I've gotten to know them, like Andre, like Sophia, like Jeanette. Louis was kind of what I expected him to be, I'll be 100% honest. But like, they've all kind of come out and been more interesting than just what they claimed to be at the beginning, and I do really appreciate that. I did have some funny OnlyFans themed jokes that I wrote down about her exit interview, about her being filled in on the games, and the fact that she took it really well. I had some more, but they're a little bit naughtier. But I just thought that she actually, like I said, she did take it very, very well. I mean, she's used to it. But I thought that her exit interview actually was handled very well. She was actually kind of happy. She was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I feel like everyone's been that way. And I'm really hoping that, like, Josh takes it that way. Because I know some of you guys are like, oh, if I was in that situation and I was deemed like the person who could never win a reality show, I'd be really upset. But I think you've got to appreciate that this show isn't saying that. It's saying these are all like people you expect to see on a reality show. And here's Josh, someone you don't expect to see on a reality show. So let's try and get him to win. That's the vibe of the whole thing. I don't think it's mean-spirited, as like some of you guys are making it out to be, but that's just my opinion. I completely appreciate that you guys might view it differently. It is what it is. Not really much we can change about that, but that is all for today, guys. That is it. We are about to end the video. Another short video. There's not really a lot to talk about in these episodes. Like, I really thought there'd be more talking points, but actually there's not. It's 45 minutes, and I think like about 15-20 minutes of it is like stuff I actually have stuff to comment on, and the rest of it is just waffling about rubbish. But yeah, it's a good concept of a show. I think next season will need a shuffle on the panel. I think Pete Wick should stay, personally. I think he's very entertaining. I think Vicky Patterson should stay. I'm undecided on Amber, but I think Nick Grimshaw's the weakest link. I'm just not that entertained by him. I also don't know what he's doing there other than he's a reality show lover. Does that mean I can host it? Because I think I'd host the shit out of that show. Anyway, moving on. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you're subscribing. We are so close to 800 and even closer to our goal of 1,000. So make sure you guys keep on. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Keep on ranting. Bye now.